Alright, what's going on boys, it's the Lone Courier here. So, Gears of War was a pretty big interest of mine on the old channel. It was a game that I started to post a lot of. I started posting during Gears 4's life cycle. So it was a game that I was pretty interested in on my old channel, but I've not actually posted a video about it yet. So I figured I may as well make some videos about Gears 5 on this channel, because I do still play Gears. I just don't post it as much as I used to, so I'm going to post some of it on this channel from now on. But I just want to make a little video, like a sort of wish list kind of video today. So I'm going to be going through some of the multiplayer maps that I'd like to see come into Gears 5 at this point. Because so far in Gears 5 we've not had a ton of maps. We've had the maps that are day 1 maps obviously, and then we've had maybe like 3 or 4 new maps since then. Like there are maps from Gears 4 that they've added, and there's like 2 new maps that they've added into the game so far. They've added Panahu, or Pahanau, however you want to pronounce that one. And I feel like there is also another new map that they added in, which I really can't remember the name of it. But they have been adding a couple of new maps into the game, but just not as many as I like to see. There's a reason for that. Obviously the maps in Gears, they take quite a long time to make, quite a long time to sort of create for the developers. They've got a lot of assets to make in these maps, especially for some of the older ones that haven't actually been remade yet, because it's easy enough for them to port over maps from Gears 4, I reckon. Like it's not that hard. Like, I mean, I'm not a game developer, so I can't comment on how hard or easy these things are, so I'm not going to sit here and discredit them and say, oh well, it's easy for them to do this stuff, so why can't they? But I feel like there is a lot more maps that need to come into this game. Like, the game really desperately needs some more new maps at this point, because the maps that are in the game, they're decent enough, you know what I mean? But at this point, we're 5 months into the year 2020, right? And then it was about 2 months before that this game dropped, so that's maybe about 7 months that we've had this game so far, and we've had like a couple of new maps. It's just a wee bit like off when you compare it to Gears 4, how many new maps we had at this point in Gears 4, because there was 2 maps every single month in Gears 4, and you can tell that they kind of ran out of ideas eventually because you started remaking D1 maps. But at the same time, I was actually quite fond of the new maps that they added into Gears 4, especially a lot of the remasters. It was getting a wee bit annoying eventually because they just kept adding in old maps, when some of the new maps that they were adding were actually pretty good. Like there was Glory, which I wasn't the biggest fan of Glory, but Spire was a really good map. I didn't really like Spire all too much to begin with, but as soon as the life cycle went on from Gears 4, I was like, you know what, I fuck with Spire. So that has got to be one of the first maps that I'd like to see come back for Gears 5. I'd like to see Spire come back, man. Spire was a really good map. If I'm going to be honest here, a lot of the Gears 4 maps were really fucking good. There's a couple of maps that they've not actually got in this game that are from Gears 4. There is also, what's that map that they used a lot for the esports? It was Impact. They used Impact a lot for the esports tournaments, and it was a really good map. I really did fuck with Impact as well. Some of the other maps I'd like to see come back in this game, I'd like to see Subway from Gears of War 1 come back. It's in Gears of War 1, it's also featured in Gears of War 2 as well. Although I don't really have too many memories of playing it in Gears 2, I remember playing it a lot in Gears Ultimate Edition and Gears of War 1. Really solid map, really did like that map. I'd love to see it come back. So moving on into the next map, this is one of my personal all-time favourite maps of the whole franchise. It's got to be Jacinto. I fucking love Jacinto, man. It's one of my favourite maps ever. Like, these maps are kind of my personal favourites, so you know, if I keep coming out with saying these are my favourite maps, it's because they are, man. It's the reason why I picked them. Jacinto, great map, fucking loved it. It was in Gears of War 2, came back in Gears of War 3 with a big makeover. The original version of Gears of War 2, there was a lot of bright skies, bright scenery going on, but then in Gears 3 you had the darkened version of it, where there was a lot of emulsion all over the ground. It was a really sick map. I really liked it they brought it back, but they'd done a complete overhaul of the map. They made it look so much different. Honestly, one of my favourite maps. Love it so much. Next map that we're going to go on to is one that I'm not as big a fan of, but I do respect it still. And this is a map that is only featured in Gears of War 2 so far, and this has got to be Pavilion. Pavilion was a pretty good map. I've got a live comm on Pavilion on Gears 2. It's decent enough. It's quite small. It's not the biggest map in Gears history, which I feel like would quite suit to Gears 5's multiplayer gameplay. Honestly, it's a map that I feel like would fit into Gears 5 pretty damn well. So, all honesty, would like to see Pavilion come back as well. I know it's one of those maps where some people are kind of on the fence about it and they're not the most keen on it, but in contrast to that, we're moving on to a map that I feel like everybody would love to see come back. This is a map that I have seen requested more than any other map in the Gears franchise. And if you're a hardcore Gears fan, if you follow all the Gears accounts on Twitter, you might know what map I'm talking about now. And that's River. River is the GOAT. I fucking loved River. This is Now I know I've said that these maps are some of my favourites, but in terms of all-time favourite, the map that I could play over and over and over again is River, man. I fucking loved River. This is my favourite all-time Gears of War map. Like, there is no other map that can touch River, in my honest opinion. And it's a crying shame that this map is only featured in Gears of War 2 so far. In Gears 4, the developers were asking us at one point what maps we'd like to see come back, and everybody was screaming fucking River. But we never seen River come back for some reason. It's a bit confusing, but in all honesty, I'd like to see Coalition make up for that by having River in Gears 5. It would work really well with that game. And it's another one of the maps where there is no power weapons in this map that are not in Gears 5. Sure, there's not a mortar in Gears of War 5, but you could replace that with the... You could replace it with the Buzzkill, the Mulcher. You could also replace it with the RL Salvo if you really wanted to, but I wouldn't really like to see that weapon come back into multiplayer. Try Shot or Mulcher, whatever it would be, or Try Shot or Buzzkill, whatever it could be. There is a lot of heavy weapons that they've got in Gears 5, so they're not going to be struggling for weapons that you could replace the mortar with. And the two, because like River is it's a symmetrical map, right? So it's identical on both lanes. So you've got a building on either end of the map, which I'll X out here, which overlook each other. They've got lines of sight that face each other, and there's always either a long shot that spawns in these buildings, or there's a torque bow. It's a really cool building. Like, it's got a really good dynamic, this game, this map anyway. There's the initial fight for the torque bow / long shot. Obviously you pick up the long shot, and the other sniper from the other building. There'll be intense sniper battles between you two, seeing who can pick each other off with a sniper. It's cool, man. I really did love this map. I love to see it come back. It's a big shame that it's never came back, but I feel like this is the time for it to finally fucking come back, dude. So yeah, I have also got one more map that I wanna just add into this, and of course, going with the theme of Gears of War 2 maps, this is Ruins. Ruins is a pretty cool map. It's a pretty unique map as well. I'm not too sure how they would make this map fit into Gears of War 5 with the lore, because of course Ruins has a big river of emotion running underneath the central area of the map, the central lane. It's kind of a free lane map. It's got one central lane which goes across a bridge which is on a raised platform in the middle of the map, and as I said, there's a big pool of emulsion underneath it. So I'm not too sure how they would make that map work with the lore, because at this point there is no more emulsion on the planet Sarah. I mean, in all honesty, I really could care less what they do with this map. I could see them literally just put a pool of lava and I would be cool with it. Ruins is a pretty cool map. I love the way it worked in Gears of War 2. Especially when you had the OG smoke grenades before they got adjusted, when there was the way you could blow enemies on their feet or on their backs using the smoke grenades. Like, it had this kind of effect on them where you'd blow a player, you'd throw a smoke grenade at a player and it would just fucking launch them a million miles away. And on Ruins, if you were standing in the middle of the map going for the flamethrower, chances are someone throws a smoke grenade up at you, you're landing in that emotion, which is an instant death. It's pretty cool to see map fatalities like that in Gears of War 2. Of course, it's not really like running in front of a train on the map Asylum or Tyro Station, but it's like, it is kind of a map fatality within itself, which is pretty cool. So it paid to know your positioning on that map as well. And then there's also the dynamic cover on this map in the middle, the bridge layer, where you'd run up to the cover and it detects you coming close to it, so it pops up for you to use it. That was really cool. It really added a new fresh take into the multiplayer, because it was stolen. It was an idea that was stolen from the campaign, because in Gears 2 you were inside Nexus at one point, and that's how a lot of the cover worked in that area, where it wouldn't be active when someone's not near it, but as soon as you're running up to it you can press A to cover slide and it'll pop out in front of you then. It was really cool. I really liked the way that worked. It's a good map. I really loved that map. I feel like it would work pretty well with Gears of War 5. As I said, I'm not too sure how they make it work with the lore. But yeah, those are just some maps that I'd love to see come back for Gears of War 5. There's a lot more maps that I'd like to see, and also I would just like to see the Coalition make some more maps. In all honesty, it's a really good game. I feel like the only thing that's currently letting it down right now, for me at least, is just the lack of multiplayer maps. There's just not enough to satisfy you if you're playing this game every single day. At this point, you're kind of playing the same maps over and over again, which is a wee bit disappointing. As I said, I'd love to see some more new ones. And yeah, leave your opinions in the comments below, guys. What maps would you like to see in this game? There's a lot of maps that I'd like to see, but mostly I'd just like to see some new maps as well, because I know the Coalition can make a really good map when they actually try. So yeah, hope you boys have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Leave a like and subscribe if you're interested in more Gears of War content on this channel. I know I'm not the best Gears of War player, which is what a lot of those guys are after. They're after high level gameplays, but I like being a Gears of War content creator, because it's one of those games that I really do fuck with, man. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day, everyone. Stay safe, boys. Peace.